What's going on YouTube? WILDMAN here, and I'm back in the indoor gym today, and I want to thank everybody for joining me on my Deload Strongman training week. And so I'm going to be starting off with the back squat for the week, and that's typically what I start with. And every single training session during the week is the back squat. Been doing it with an axle bar lately, but now I'm switching back over to a barbell. Now, as I'm going up in weight on the back squat, I'm also going to be doing some ring pull-ups, just because they were there. Kind of looked pretty for to get all the whole entire camera angle in there to see what my space is going to be. So I kind of thought I would just do that. And then I'm also going to be doing some weighted step ups. Great exercise to do to warm up for the squat. And if you take a kettlebell or a dumbbell and you step up in this manner, it actually works your obliques pretty well too. So this is just a great exercise I love to do. Not too much of a heavy weight, just something to kind of just get the blood flowing in my knees and in my quads, and also getting my abs activated through the obliques. That's going to be the strength giant set for the day. And the goal for today is to get up to 315 pounds by doing reps of 3 and jumping up like 50 to 40 pounds, major jumps. And then just making sure that I'm not taxing myself too much, because the day before is actually when I did that circus dumbbell and all that stone work on my last video. So now I hit my deadlift goal. I've hit all my big weights before in my normal training session. I've rocked my body. My central nervous system is fatigued. And now it's just time to kind of dial it back a little bit and to just kind of go up to a nice easy weight. And then once I get up to my top set for the day, I'm going to try to do like 8 to 10 reps of that weight. And it's not going to be too heavy for me, like I said, because for a deload week, which a lot of lifters don't like to hear, they hate hearing the word deload, because that means sometimes you have to lift with lighter weight. And they hate doing that, trust me, because every strongman and weightlifter out there wants to go to the gym and they want to lift heavy. That's kind of why we're in the gym in the first place, is because we want to test ourselves every day. But if you keep doing that, you're actually going to blow out your central nervous system, and you're actually going to go backwards in progress. So it's important every once in a while to kind of dial it back and to be a little bit smart in your training. So typically, like if I'm doing a lot of volume, I'll do reps of 6. And that's a lot of reps as I'm going up in weight. That's a true volume set. But today isn't about volume. It's mainly just about getting warmed up to my top set, which isn't going to be a very heavy weight, like I just said, and I keep saying. And I'm just going to try to gingerly move through it and just kind of get some reps and more of a bodybuilding style versus trying to go for strength. This also allows me to work on my technique, because I can find myself squatting the way I want to squat when I have an axle bar for some reason. But with a barbell, I can't ever find that sweet spot. Sometimes I can, but sometimes it's hit or miss. So this is a perfect opportunity to try to find that sweet spot with every single rep and every single lift off I have from the rack with the barbell on my back. Just a great way to try to make sure that I'm doing everything correctly. So when I do get to the heavier weight, I know what it should feel like and what it shouldn't feel like with a barbell. So now I'm coming up to my top set, which is going to be 315 pounds. Again, not a tough weight for me, but I am going to wear a belt. I'm not like trying to do it beltless or anything like that. It isn't one of these kind of training sessions. This is just supposed to be a time where I'm practicing on my technique. And once I get to my top set, that's where I go for a max amount of reps. But I promised myself I'd stop either after 8, 9, or 10th rep. I didn't want to go any higher than that. I didn't want to go any lower than that. So as long as I hit between that rep range, I'm good. And I think on this day, I ended up only doing 8, because when I got to the 8th rep, it kind of moved a little slow and I was getting a little sloppy in my technique. So that's when I knew it was time to put it back. But hitting a weight like this and hitting it for an 8 rep max and just gingerly moving up with 3 reps with lower weight up to this point, I feel like is a good deloading session. Make sure that my central nervous system can recover and I can still get my good workout, and I don't need to absolutely blow out my body, so I can continue to work up from here once I start my interval again. And, I'm still getting a really good workout with doing all these ring pull-ups and doing all those weighted step-ups. I'm still getting a really good workout in conjunction with strength training. So definitely like to train in giant set training format, even if it's a deload period, just because of the awesome workout you typically get when you couple everything together. Now for the variation giant set, I stopped doing those pull-ups and I stopped doing those weight setups, and now I'm just trying to do a single leg action. So I decided to do the leg press machine since it was there. Again, I'm just not trying to focus on the weight. I'm just trying to get all the way down in a full range of motion with one leg, switch it over to the other leg, and then doing reps with those. This is just a way to kind of just activate those muscles, and I'm not totally blowing them out. Great way to just kind of get some extra blood and extra volume training in a single leg fashion, which is important on back squat days. Then for the assistance, I was only doing the leg extension machine at the max weight, just because I wanted to make sure that I was hitting those quads. And then for the accessory giant set, I was actually doing it in giant set format, doing some rope curl supinations. Just I did all that heavy stone lifting the other day, so my biceps were a little bit tired. So this is just a great way to do the biceps. I decided to do some face pulls instead of some hitchhikers today, kind of a change, mainly because the band was here and it was convenient. And then some flutter kicks because it really works your abs, but it also works the inner part of your thigh, which is super important after a heavy leg day. And that was the total workout for the day. Hope everybody enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you for the next episode when I show you more of the deloading week. I'll see you next time. Thanks.